Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and today we would be going to see a demo and few sort of explanation for Oracle database performance part 5. And you can go back to my channel and look for the other performance from part 1 to part 4. And today we would be looking more about the SQL Plan Management features of Oracle database, which was introduced in 11G. And before we go on to the actual demo, there are a few technical terms that needs to be discussed, that needs to be uh, that we should know before we understand it actually in more better way. So let me go ahead to the slide number 2. And okay, yeah, so see, these are the main parameters, or these are the main Oracle database parameters, features, or the topic components we would be reviewing. We would be actually going through these, and these plays an important part in defining a SQL plan baseline. Okay, so this is the parameter, which is optimizer underscore capture underscore SQL underscore plan underscore baselines. It has to be true in order for the SQL plan management feature to be enabled at the database side. $SQL area is the view which contains the detail about parse, execute, and fetch query, one line, and generally it contains the parent SQL ID details. Shared pool is a memory area in SGA which keeps track of library cache, shared library cache, session cache, dictionary cache. Okay, and there are another 4 components, which is called private SQL area, PL SQL area, log definitions. So these things are being shared, kept in the shared pool. dvms underscore explan dot display, this is a utility to see the explain plan of the query. dvms underscore spm is a utility where we manually force the SQL plan management. Yeah, we can use this package to manually trigger the SQL plan management subject to SQL plan management feature to be enabled at the database level. Okay, now, so these are the 5 components in this our demo, which we would be seeing it up and reviewing it. So now let's get into the demo part. Okay, so let me show you my SQL environment, what it is right now. So I'm actually using DSC $version select banner from $version. So this is 19C enterprise. Basically this is 19.3, and this I can show you by this 19.3.0. okay, let me go back here, and this is the name of the database from $database, and this is the current timestamp from 12. Okay, and these are my users. So I have just like a basic setup for a demo purpose. So basically what we would, this is my demo user, and if you see here the report schema, you can just see, like, I have demo data of 2 gig, system, sysocs, undo tabs. I'm not using ASM and all, it's just a standalone setup. Okay, so this is the parameter character. Okay, so parameters, so these are the additional thing. You can see it here. I have an undo tab enabled, and yep, so optimizer mode is all rows, and right, that's what I want to show you more. Okay, so my characters is AL32 UTF-8, and I'm actually trying to show this. That's fine, I think. Let's try to make it fast. Okay, so let's connect to demo / Oracle. I do show user, which is my demo, and DSC user underscore tables which is like select unique table name from user underscore tables. Okay, so I have my objects, so let me drop this, drop table my objects. Okay, this is drop table my objects. Okay, this is drop, and for this particular station this is drop. I do not think I need to put. Okay, so this is my sales, and let me see. Okay, now I have to create a table my object as select asterisk from the DBA object. So my this demo user, which is here, has a DBA privilege, else it would have not been allowed me to write it. Okay, so create create table my objects as select asterisk from DBA objects. Okay, so this allows me to create this table, and I can just query back here and I should see my tables here. Okay, now I have to run this query which says select. This is the command test underscore SPM. Had I has to use a hint, I would be putting the plus, and then if I have to use a multiple hints, I would be putting comma and then moving on it. So but the hint would work from the left to right. Okay, so in the optimizer plan, the explain plan, and if we see the further plan, the hint would be taken from left to right. So this is like select owner object underscore name from my objects, where object ID is table and owner is equal to done. Okay, so let me paste this to this thing. This is okay. Let me paste this here. Okay, so I see it just returned the caller owner format A20 and caller object name format A20. Okay, now see, it just returned the simple demo and my cells. There is nothing, so we are just selecting this thing. Okay, now okay, so let's see what is the current optimizer capture parameter, and it is false. So this particular parameter optimizer underscore capture SQL underscore plan underscore baselines has to be true in order for the SPM to work. Now let's try to find the SQL ID of the SQL statement which we just queried, and we can do it from here. So this is the query, 5rn. This is the SQL ID of the query. Okay, now we'll okay, so the thing is this is false right now. Now we will load the execution plan for this statement into the SQL Plan Management base. Okay, let me see one thing here. Okay, so parameter which is false. Okay, this is the manual way to load it. So we are just putting the set server put out on, and let me copy this here to here. So what it is doing, see, I'm running a procedure. I'm declaring lplan loaded as an integer. So this is the variable which is of type pls underscore integer, and then I'm doing the begin with this query, and I'm using this package dbms underscore spm load plan from the SQL cursor. This is the package and this is the module, and I'm putting this as the SQL ID, and this is loading from the shared pool. So we are seeing from the cursor cache, and then it will give the output. So I'm just manually trying to populate the SQL plan. Okay, the PL SQL procedure completed successfully, plans loaded is equal to 1. Okay, note that the initially loaded plan is accepted by default. So let's try to run this query, and before we run it, let's see what it's trying. So we are doing a select query. We are actually trying to retrieve SQL underscore held plan underscore name enabled accepted from the DBA SQL plan. So whatever we loaded, it gets stored in this particular table, which is a DBA underscore SQL plan underscore baseline, and where a SQL text like. Okay, so this is the text here, and we're just trying to make a query to into this and see. Yes, so it says like set lines. Let me try to set it at pages 1000 and see. Yeah, so if I scroll it bit here, this is the plan name SQL plan underscore this, and it is enabled and accepted. Okay, now let's create an index. So now the question comes with, what is the SQL plan management? I think we didn't discuss this. Okay, so let's try to read one of the statements here. When a SQL statement is hard passed, the cost based optimizer produces several execution plans and selects the one with the lowest cost. If a SQL plan baseline is present, the optimizer compares the plan it just produced with the plans in the SQL plan baseline. If a matching plan is found that is flagged as accepted, the plan is used. If a matching plan is found that is flagged as accepted, the plan is used. So a new query get hard passed, and then the optimizer go to the SQL plan baseline, and if that is already present and flagged, that plan is used rather than the new hard passed. If the SQL plan baseline does not contain an accepted plan matching the one it just created, the optimizer evaluates the accepted plan in the SQL plan baseline and uses the one with the lowest cost. Okay, so if there is a no SQL baseline does not contain an accepted plan, so if ACCS is equal to no and there is no accepted plan, the SQL optimizer will use all the available plans in the SQL baseline with the lowest cost. If the execution plan originally produced by the optimizer has a lower cost than those present in the SQL baseline, it is added to the baseline as a not accepted plan. So the thing is, like, if the optimizer generated a plan when the query was hard passed and it does find that there is already an accepted plan in a SQL plan baseline, it make this new hard pass explain plan as not accepted. So it is not used until it is verified and not to cause a reduction in performance. If a system change affects all existing accepted plans, so they are considered non-reproducible, the optimizer will use the plan with the lowest cost. Okay, Oracle call this as a conservative plan selection strategy. So this is the parameter which has to be true. Okay, the value of this parameter, which default value solve determines if the system should automatically capture the SQL plan baseline. So this feature is already there, and this parameter decide whether SQL plan baseline should be automatically captured or not. So by default it is false, and the value is optimizer underscore capture underscore SQL underscore plan underscore baselines. Okay, so if you made it true, it will automatically capture. Okay, when it is set to true, the system records a plan history for the SQL statement. The first plan for a specific statement is automatically flagged as accepted. Alternative plans generated after this point are not used until it is verified they do not cause performance degradations. Plans with accepted performance are added to the SQL plan baseline during the evolution phase. Okay, so there is a way to manually load this, and that's what we did it. Okay, let's get back here. So we are now going to create an index, my object, and object type column. Okay, let's try to create this index. Let me put this as a clear here. Okay, so the index is created now. So it says that gather the fresh stats, which we are going to do it, and then we will flush the this thing. So what this particular thing does is like it will let the dictionary, or it will actually update the dictionary, so that when, and yeah, it will update the dictionary that this particular my object table has got a new index. Okay, so let's see what's the problem here. DBA mass stats, I think. Okay, unknown command. Okay, what is the problem here? Okay, let's see what is my user here. And if I go back to this, let's see, unknown command, rest of the line. Okay. Okay, I have to, let's Google it, that what's the problem here, and should be fine. Okay, I got it. So what the problem is, like, you have to go back to demo Oracle, you have to put execute, and then you have to copy these one. Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, so this is done. Now I'm going to flush the shared pool. Alter system flush shared pool. So the objective of this is that as I do it, all the things which we ran it here, like this particular query, it got hard passed, and now this is stored. Okay, so the next time I run, it will be not passed again, and since it has already been passed once, so Oracle will use the last explain plan. And now when I flushed it, everything went out. And why I was to flush? Because I had gathered the stats right now, and the flushing will, what the flush will do, it has removed everything. Now when it is hard passed, these new stats, which is like the index what we created right now, will be picked up while optimizer decide how to get the value out of, so okay. Now view the execution plan for the statement and note that the index is not being used and the original SQL plan which involve a full line is being used. Okay, so that's what it is saying. Okay, this is explain, and this we are using it. Okay, let me just copy this first query here, and I think this did not go well. And okay, so this is explained, so there is no further execution, it just got explained. And so we see that although we created the index, okay, this is the execution plan which is right, which is yes. So okay, since we flushed it first part, now the Oracle use this SQL baseline because it is an accepted mode. Although it did generate its new explain plan with index on it, but it used this one. Although this has a lowest query with an index, but still okay, the lowest query with an index, but still, yes, but still it used the SQL baseline which was done earlier. Okay, now we have to use this SPM package to create a SQL plan evaluation task. Okay, so what it is doing, declare this is a variable of varchar2 begin L return dbms underscore spm create evolve task SQL handle is SQL b2e. Okay, let's see what is this SQL b2e. Okay, first try to understand what is the evolve task. Okay, that is important. Evolving SQL plan baseline is the process by which the optimizer decides if non-accepted plan in the baseline should be accepted. As mentioned previously, manually loaded plans are ultimately marked as accepted. So manual loading forces the evolving process. When the plans are loaded, the baselines are evolved using this function. Okay. Now, okay, so what we're trying to do it right now here, just to find that what is this value. Okay. Okay, let's try to do some trial error and see that uh, okay, we will do the trial error. Okay, we'll not just go by the document. So let's try, let me try to run this. Okay, and see what is the set server out on. Okay, and then I go from here, declare. I think it will give an error. Okay, so it just still went on with the task name, this thing PLC. So what will happening that we have created one task with this name and we are evolving the task. So what does it mean? It means that if there is the further non-accepted plan, can that be used and make it accepted? That's what the statement says here, right? It says evolving a SQL plan baseline is the process by which the optimizer determines if the non-accepted plans in the baseline should be accepted. Okay, now this is done. This is my task ID. Now you will use this package to execute the SQL this thing. So let's try to do this. So this is like the process. This is like nothing conceptually. So this is the process and we have to adhere to it. So first we initialize this, but then we enable it. Okay, so think in that way. And this is the execution task name, which is execute underscore 176. Okay, now we generate the plan evolution report. So what we do, set long, set pages, and we do it select. And before we do it, let's try to put the names here. And task is 156, which is this, and execution is 176, which is this. And let me try to go with this. And yeah, okay, set, okay, pages, thousands. Now what happened, that none of these things came in a proper format. Okay, set long as this thing. Okay, so something something like this you will see, which says like task name is this, task owner is demo, execution type is this, scope is comprehensive, started, finished, unused, summary sections, number of the plan process, finding, recommendations. So basically what this step did, what it did, it's like they are like, so first of all in the SPM there was the manual task. So manually we created it, it got into accepted mode. Now I created an index in a table, I flushed my shared pool, I run explain plan for, and naturally if it has to be accessed based on the index, the cost would be less. But since it got hard passed, the optimizer recreated those plans in the the optimizer passed the plan. Okay, and before it can use the new plan with a lower cost, it went to the SPM and it already found, oh, there is a baseline plan which is marked as accepted. So it used that particular accepted plan to be used. Okay, part number one. Now part number two is that we created an evolving task. So first we initialize it, then we executed it. What it does, it actually reviewed both the plans which is marked as accepted and also the plan which got created after we flushed the shared pool. Okay, and it just analyzed those, and this is the report. Okay, so unfortunately this did not come better, and so we have this thing. Okay, so this is the base plan and this is the test plan, and it gives the relative comparison. Okay, So the taste plan name is this, the base plan name is this, and further details it gave, and this thing. Okay, now, okay, let's try to exit and just see what it came here. Con demo slash Oracle. Let me generate that report. I haven't put anything here, and let's see. Okay, okay, this won't work because it should work like, okay. So I think what happened, that as I logged out, this report went out. Okay, that's what the one thing has happened, but never mind. I think I can fix that thing later, but this is the generic report which we will be seeing. Okay, now we have to implement the recommended plan. So we just put the server set out, and then we go, let's review this plan. Okay, and what it does, that you are defining iReturn variable as a number. Then in this iReturn you are doing implement evolve task, then the task name is this, and then so okay, so we have to implement the evolve task. Now once this is done, we will query from DBA SQL plan baseline whether it is accepted or not. So it will say yes, it's there. A new better SQL plan is now being used, which involves an index range. So when I do now explain plan for this and I run select asterisk from this, it will say table accessed by index. Okay, so that was the, that's all. So let me revise what we did, that is more important. And so okay, let me revise it step by step what we did actually in this demo. So first of all, we got into the SQL prompt, we changed our user to demo, and we created a my object table from select asterisk from DB objects. Then we ran a query for the very first time. It displays the basic results. Okay, then we got the SQL ID of that particular query. We checked optimizer underscore capture SQL plan underscore baselines value, which was set to be false. It means that the system won't accept the SQL plans into the SPM automatically. Okay, so the evolve part won't happen. Okay, so it is set to be false. That's like recommended feature. Then we manually use the dbms underscore SPM procedure inside DBMS package inside a procedure to get the plan accepted. That's the part number one. Now we created the index on one of the column in the my objects. Then we ran an explain plan for that particular query again, and we found okay, we created the index, then we gather the stats, then we flush the seed underscore pull. Okay, now we ran the explain plan for. So what it does, it do not actually run the query, but it will just display what is the optimum plan optimizer has chosen for this particular query for execution. And we found that it is using the SQL plan baseline, which we created manually before creating the index. Now naturally, if the SQL plan has an access path based on index, it will be faster than a full table scan. Secondly, what we did, that we used the evolve package inside DBMS and SPM to automatically consider the non-accepted plans which has a lower value to think to consider. So basically we evolve the task to consider whether we can have the non-accepted plans, because my optimizer underscore capture SQL underscore plan underscore baselines is false. So we evolve the task to find to basically we evolve the task so that this particular plan with the lower cost can also be considered to be accepted based on its lowest cost, and then we generated the report which give us the detail of verbal comparison. And then we, once those comparisons are done, we executed steps, we executed a procedure to make that new plan with which has an index access path to be an accepted plan. So the next time when the query ran, it took that plan from the SPM after like shared pool as a standard accepted plan. So this way we saw that how SQL plan management works and what are the components of it, which is an important part for execution. Okay, so that's all for this demo, and we will meet again in the next performance tuning demo section. Thank you.